So,
Go ahead.
my first question is, when did you become a pilot?
In July of 1968,
Okay. Why did you become a pilot?
because I wanted to learn how to fly.
Okay. What did you do when you were a pilot?
When I got my pilot's license, okay, if you drive a car in your wallet, you have to have a driver's license. Okay. If you're going to fly an airplane, in your wallet, you have to be carrying on your person a pilot's license. And it looks like this. And I earned my first pilot license. Actually, my first pilot license was a student pilot license. It was a little yellow piece of paper that was just a temporary. Okay, and in that I was legally allowed, to fly an airplane without an instructor in the airplane. But I had to have the instructor's permission. And that went on until I got a private pilot license. And when I got a private pilot license, then I could not only fly by myself whenever I wanted, but I could carry passengers. Okay? That pilot license I earned when I took, like a driving test, I took a flying test, and I flew to Clearfield, 54 miles from here. And I took a license, an FAA license examiner for a ride. It was a woman, Roberta Sabato by name. Took her for a ride, and she asked me to do different things to demonstrate to her that I was safe to fly the airplane. She asked me questions first, so that she was confident of the outcome. In other words, they say the examiner has to never be in doubt of the outcome of a maneuver. Like they say, land the airplane. They have to be confident that you will do this safely. Okay, and so she had me do things, and then she had me land, and she said, okay, now I want you to plan a trip to a city that was some distance away, like a couple 100 miles away. And she said, and I want you to start that trip. And so I had to draw up a flight plan for that trip, and then go check the airplane over to make sure it was safe to fly, had fuel and everything like that, and then load her on board the airplane and take off and start flying that trip. And as soon as she was convinced that I would get there, we'd only flown a few miles. Okay, she said, okay, that's enough. Now come on back to the airport and land. And then she had me demonstrate a couple different kind of landings. Okay, and once she was done with it, then she signed my first pilot's license. Okay, and what she did is she signed a temporary. Okay, but I was then legal to carry passengers. So I came back here, and I took my wife, your Aunt Jean, okay, took her for a ride. She delivered your Aunt Emily the next day. So she was big and round, and she tended to get airsick. And she found out that there were two sets of controls, two control wheels in the airplane. And she found that if she'd just gently hang on to the controls in the control wheel, that she knew what the airplane was going to be, and then she could cope with it. Okay, that was the first trip where I carried a passenger, and it was legal. Mm-hmm. So that was one of the most interesting ones, and that happened on July the 21st of 1968, and Emily was born the following day.
Okay, cool.
That was the most interesting one.
Okay.
The most complex trip that I made was when I flew a small plane into the Oshkosh Air Show. And that was busier than when I flew into the Chicago O'Hare Airport with a twin. And I was flying a little tailwheel airplane into Oshkosh. And the traffic was so heavy, okay, that we couldn't even talk to the tower operator or anything like that. They said, okay, yellow airplane, if you can hear me, wiggle your wings. And I'd wiggle the wings as I flew right over somebody on the ground that was watching me with binoculars. Said, okay, you're now number 5 to land, but behind a green airplane that's just ahead of you. Follow him and land on this long strip. Okay, and I followed him in, and he said, and turn off as soon as you can because there's a P-51 Mustang fighter right behind you. And he's going a lot faster than you are. I was flying a really slow airplane. And I could picture that airplane coming in and slicing me up like bologna if I didn't get out of his way fast enough because there's a tremendous windmill pulling it forward. Okay, so that was probably the second most memorable flight to me. One evening, I took a twin-engine airplane and I flew it up to Niagara Falls at night. And I could fly all around Niagara Falls at night and look at the lights and look at the dancing lights that went around on aerial restaurants. There were restaurants built up on the top of skyscrapers, and I could see them, and I could see the lights that they throw onto the American Niagara Falls. Looked like a rainbow at night, okay, from all the lights, and so it was beautiful. So there were a lot of memorable flights.
Cool. So, what was like your scariest moment when flying?
When I was flying from Williamsport, which is about 25 miles from here, back to Lock Haven, one night in bad weather. And as I was flying back, there were clouds. And I'd find fog banks or something like that clouded in. And I was close to Lock Haven, and I saw lights flash. And I thought it was a tower from a TV reception tower right close, and I was afraid I was about to fly into the guy wires. And what it was the red light on my wingtip was reflecting off the clouds. And so I was carrying the light source with me, but I didn't know that right away. That was a little early in my flying time, but that was probably the scariest moment that I had because I was afraid I was about to fly into the wires that supported that tower.
That's scary. No. Okay. That's everything.